Okay, so AI. Everybody's talking about it, but what's the real deal with AI and the future of work? I mean, are we all about to be replaced by robots?
Well, it's not quite as simple as robots taking over. We've seen this kind of thing before with new tech. Like, remember when factory automation was going to put everyone out of a job?
Yeah, but then new industries popped up that nobody even imagined before.
Hmm.
And that whole thing about the internet killing jobs, now we can't live without it.
Exactly. It's about understanding how tech changes things. This time, it's not just manual jobs, but thinking jobs, too. This report we're looking at says a lot of jobs will be gone by 2030. That's the scary part. But there's this other idea. They talk about augmentation. Have you heard of that?
Augmentation? Like we all become cyborgs.
It-
Maybe not. But what does that even mean when we're talking about jobs?
Think about it this way. AI takes the boring, repetitive stuff, the stuff humans hate anyway, which frees us up for what it does. AI isn't good at creativity strategy, solving really complex problems.
So instead of replacing us, AI is more like the copal.
Exactly. Like in medicine, imagine an AI that can look at x-rays and see things human doctors might miss. But it's still the doctor who talks to the patient and figures out what to do. AI gives them a superpower, not a pink slip.
Okay, that's a much better picture. But let's be real. Some jobs are going to disappear. How do we prepare people for that?
That's where education and retraining come in, big time. We need to teach people the skills AI can't replicate. Critical thinking, emotional intelligence, being able to adapt. These will be the in-demand skills in an AI world.
So businesses need to be thinking about this too.
Yeah.
Designing jobs that use both human and AI strengths.
Absolutely. It's finding that sweet spot where human ingenuity and AI efficiency work together. We might even get totally new jobs, just like we did with the internet. It's a challenge, but a huge opportunity too.
So it's not humans versus machines, but figuring out how we all thrive together. I'm feeling a bit better about those robots now.
That's the spirit. But while we're feeling good, we can't forget the downsides. This tech brings up some tough ethical issues, especially with AI being used in surveillance.
You're talking about that AI that scans crowds and supposedly knows who's going to commit a crime. It's like that movie Minority Report.
And just like in the film, it raises big questions about privacy versus security. Where's the line?
On the one hand, I can see how this tech could prevent tragedies, stopping something bad before it happens, making public spaces safer. Those are all good, right?
Definitely. And for law enforcement, it could be amazing, freeing up officers to focus on things that need human judgment while AI does that first threat assessment.
But who gets to decide what's suspicious behavior? How do we make sure AI doesn't just learn our own biases?
Those are the million-dollar questions. And they're not just hypothetical anymore. These systems are being used right now. That's why that whole whistleblower thing online caused such a stir. It's one thing to flag a possible threat. It's another to profile people based on bad data or algorithms.
And then there's the whole always being watched thing that's got to mess with your head, right?
Right.
Where does personal freedom fit in?
It's a tightrope we're walking. And we haven't even talked about it being used for bad things. Imagine a dictatorship getting hold of this tech. It's scary.
Scary for sure. So how do we balance the good AI can do for security with these risks to our freedoms?
It's tough, but transparency is key. We need to know how these systems work, what data they use, how they make decisions. No more black boxes.
Right. We can't just trust the algorithms.
Yeah.
We need to be able to check them, understand why the AI does what it does.
Exactly. And that means we need clear rules and someone watching to make sure it's all above board. We need to hold someone accountable if these systems are misused or end up hurting someone.
Sounds like we need a serious public discussion about all this. After all, this tech affects us all. Shouldn't we have a say in how it's used?
100%. Public engagement is crucial. We need to talk about what we gain and lose, what could happen, and what we as a society are okay with.
It seems like finding that balance between innovation and doing what's right between security and freedom, that's the big challenge with AI.
You got it. And it's not just about surveillance, it's about every part of making AI, which brings up another huge question. Who gets to decide what's ethical with these powerful tools?
It's something to think about. Who programs the programmers, right?
It's a question that keeps AI ethicists up at night, trying to figure out the morals and what it all means for society. Their whole job is about making sure AI and our values are on the same page, which is way more complicated than it sounds.
Yeah, like how do you code for being good? Can you even do that?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not just about what's good in some general sense.
Yeah.
It's about dealing with a world where everyone's got different values and beliefs. What's ethical in one place might be totally wrong somewhere else.
So how do you even start to create AI that's fair? And just when even we humans are still arguing about what those things mean. Makes my head spin.
It's huge. And there's no instruction manual. The first step is just admitting it's complicated. We need all sorts of people involved: technologists, ethicists, people making policy cultural experts, and most importantly, the people who'll actually be living with this tech.
Makes sense. AI shouldn't be something that's just for us. It needs to be built with us.
100%. And part of that is having those tough conversations about, well, mess ups. When an AI system screws up, and it will happen, who takes the blame? The coder, the company using it? Or do we start talking about AI being responsible itself?
Whoa. Now, can you put an algorithm on trial?
That's what legal experts and philosophers are trying to figure out. And it's not just a thought experiment anymore. We've got self-driving cars making choices that could mean life or death. AI in healthcare and the justice system, the stakes are high.
So it's not about finding all the right answers right this second, but more about keeping the conversation going as things change.
Exactly. Tech moves so fast, we got to be ready to adapt. Always checking in, seeing if things need tweaking. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
It sounds tiring. But on a lighter note, I'm curious about what AI can actually do beyond all this serious stuff. Like, what's the real-world impact?
Oh man, the possibilities are endless. But one place where we're seeing amazing stuff is in scientific discovery, especially in material science.
Material science. Break it down for me. Isn't that just like the study of stuff?
Well, yeah, kind of. But it's about understanding what materials are made of, how they act under different conditions, and then using that to make new and better stuff.
Okay, so where does the AI magic happen? Are we talking robot scientists mixing chemicals in labs?
I like that image. And it's partly true. AI is being used to automate experiments, which speeds things up like crazy. But it's bigger than just beakers and test tubes. AI can look at mountains of data on material properties, melting point conductivity, how strong it is, way faster than any human could.
So it's like a superpowered research assistant crunching numbers day and night.
Exactly. And get this, AI can find patterns and connections in that data that we might completely miss. It's like having a sixth sense for materials.
So instead of just trying things out over and over, which takes forever, we can use AI to zero in on the most promising stuff.
You got it. And this could change everything. Imagine batteries that are tiny and light but last way longer, or materials that heal themselves when they're damaged. It sounds like science fiction.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Self-healing clothes. Bridges that fix their own cracks. Sign me up.
It's closer than you think. And it has huge implications for everything, from space travel to medicine to building things that are good for the planet.
See, this is why I get excited about AI. It's not just about robots taking over. It's about using tech to do things we never thought possible and tackle some of our biggest problems.
Now you're thinking like a true innovator. And speaking of pushing boundaries, we can't forget about AI in the creative world.
You talk about those AI-generated images I've been seeing everywhere, those crazy realistic portraits and landscapes. It's wild. Is that even art, though?
That's the question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer.
Right. Like, is AI just a tool for human artists, or is it becoming a creator itself? It's a real head-scratcher.
It definitely blurs the lines. What's clear is that AI is making us rethink what's possible in art and design.
Give me some examples. How is this actually working in the creative world?
One cool area is generative design. AI can come up with tons of design options based on what you tell it, like weight strength, what it's made of.
So instead of an architect spending weeks drawing different building plans, they can have AI whip up a bunch of choices in no time.
Exactly. And then the architect can use their skills to pick the best ones, tweak them, add that human touch that AI can't quite manage, at least not yet.
Not yet. There's that phrase again.
Yeah.
But it does feel like AI is becoming this super powerful creative partner.
I like that. And it's not just visual art. AI is making music, writing poems, even whole movie scripts.
What, you saying Hollywood is going to be replaced by robots? That's kind of terrifying and kind of awesome.
Don't worry, human storytellers are safe for now.
Yeah.
But the point is, AI is making us rethink what's possible creatively. It's a wild time to be an artist, a designer, a musician, anyone who creates.
It's like the whole world is this giant art project between humans and machines, and we're all just figuring it out as we go.
It's definitely pushing us, no doubt. And it really makes you think, with all this talk about AI taking over, it's kind of cool to see it being used to make things instead of taking them away. Like, AI can handle the tech stuff, but the heart and soul, that's still us.
Totally. It's like AI is another tool, not the whole toolbox.
Exactly. And that reminds me of another area where AI is making a splash: real-time graphics and immersive experiences.
You're talking about video games, right? I've heard whispers about AI creating these crazy realistic game worlds. It's like you're really there.
Almost. We're talking lifelike characters, worlds that change based on what you do, storylines that adapt to your choices.
Wait, so video games are about to get even more intense and unpredictable. Count me in.
I think we're all in for a wild ride. But this
Mhm.
goes way beyond just fun and games. This technology could be huge for education training, even therapy.
Seriously, how?
Imagine learning history by actually walking through ancient Rome, or surgeons practicing surgery on a virtual patient that feels real without any risks.
That's insane. Talk about hands-on learning.
Exactly. And here's the best part. AI can tailor these experiences to how you learn best. It's like having a personal tutor in your computer.
That's next level stuff.
Or
But therapy, how does AI even work there?
think about it. AI can create a safe space where people can face their fears or practice social skills without the stress of the real world.
Okay, now that's using tech for good. It's like AI is giving us the power to do things we never could before and change what it means to be human.
That's a powerful way to put it. And it shows what AI can really do when it's used the right way, ethically, and with some thought behind it.
Okay, big question time. Where do we go from here? What's the next chapter in the AI store? What's coming next?
If I had that crystal ball, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on a beach somewhere. But honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what AI can do. What we're seeing now is just a preview.
It's exciting and kind of scary. This whole AI thing.
I get it. But that feeling of, wow, and yeah, maybe a little bit of fear, that's how we know we're dealing with something big. It makes us question everything, rethink our place in the world, and figure out how to build a future that makes sense with our values.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
It's flown by. What a conversation.
To everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has got your brains buzzing. AI is changing the world faster than ever, so stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, never stop asking questions. Because the future of AI isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we all get to create together.